This video will follow the cleaning and maintenance section of the 112 pp user guide. With regular cleaning after each experiment and routine maintenance, the system will last for many years, even with heavy daily use. At the conclusion of your experiment, you need to remove the tissue that is mounted on your two glass cannulas. We will also need to remove all the buffer from our tissue chamber and all buffer in P1 and P2 bottles. You will then turn off heat on the interface or using the MyoVIEW, and you will also place the calibration shunt bypassing the cannulas. We will set P1 to 140 and P2 to 70. We will turn on pressure and flow and let the system push all buffer out into the waste P2 bottle. At this point, you should also go into the settings menu and initiate the cleaning menu. This will ensure that the pulsation wells are also maintained. The pulsation chambers on the 112 pp will empty slowly. However, if you loosen the bleed valves one at a time for P1 and P2, this should facilitate the emptying. You can turn off pressure and turn off the cleaning menu. We will now rinse the P1 bottle and add 150 milliliters of water. We will now repeat the process we did with air with the distilled water. Tighten the cap on P1, enter the cleaning menu, and turn on pressure. Once you can see water dripping into the P2 waste bottle, you know that all of your lines are filled with distilled water. You will let this continue to run. While doing so, open the P1 release valve on the pulsation well. You can see this fill with water, and then close this, and repeat the same with P2. You will let this program run with distilled water for 10 minutes. After that, you can turn off pressure, empty the P1 and P2 bottles, retighten the caps, and let it run with air. This will empty all of the lines of the chamber. It should also empty the pressure wells, but you can open the bleed valves in order to help facilitate air in these chambers. While the program is running with water and air, you should rinse the 112 pp chamber with distilled water 3 times. Add a small amount of water to the chamber, approximately 7 milliliters. Now take a syringe with a blunt-tipped 18-gauge needle to draw buffer back into the P1 and P2 cannula tubing. Since you are not going through the pressure transducers, you do not have to worry about being too forceful. Make sure that the valve is in line with the flow to allow you to pull this water back. We can now empty the chamber of all remaining water. And now it has been 10 minutes, so we can stop the cleaning procedure and empty the bottles of the distilled water. You can start the pressure and the cleaning menu again to push air through the entire lines. Again, the pulsation chambers should empty at this point. If you need to, you can empty the bleed valves to help push the air into the pulsation chambers. Now that we have air only in the chamber, we will draw the air through the P2 cannula line first, and then P1. This will remove all the water and any leftover salt from the lines. Repeat this process on the P1 cannula. You can see that P1 and P2 wells are emptying. We will open these valves to make this go faster. Although it is not needed after every experiment, DMT does recommend an 8% acetic acid wash for deeper cleanings. This should only be used if salt debris is clearly visible. After this program has run for 10 minutes, you can stop the pressure and the cleaning menu. The last step is to open the pulsation cover and remove any water from these wells and the tissue chamber itself. You can also remove the calibration shunt at this point and connect the cannula tubing to be ready for the next day's experiment. Although it is not needed after every use, DMT would only recommend an 8% acetic acid wash if you see salt buildup in the chamber. If you do need to clean your chamber with 8% acetic acid, you will fill the chamber to the top and let it soak for 1 to 2 minutes. You can also use a swab stick to rub down any place that you saw the salt buildup. Be careful to avoid hitting the forced transducer mount. Once this is done, you need to remove the acetic acid and do at least 3 distilled water washes. If a hydrophobic reagent has been used, or a toxic chemical, or in the case of red or brown discolorations in the chamber, please refer to the 112 pp user guide for a more in-depth cleaning protocol. At the end of cleaning, please check to make sure that there is still grease protecting the forced transducer housing, and remove the P1 and P2 buffer bottles of the interface. Rinse them with water and let them dry. For more information on the 112 pp, please refer to the DMT website or additional training videos.